stage. I was a bit worried that I wouldn't be able to hear everyone or be able to speak clearly, but after watching this for a couple of days, it seems like this is a very efficient way, and it feels like a 3-day silent disco. So I'm happy to be the DJ for the next 30 minutes. So with a show of hands, can I see how many people are tuned into this talk? All right, great. So hopefully everyone sees we're doing something really cool here, and now they tune in. So now that I have everyone's attention, my name is Kevin Zaki. I'm part of the MMC team out of the Buffalo, New York office. I work as a sales engineer with large clients. Today I'm going to be talking about the Stripe payment terminal for the point of sale system. Before we get started, I have a QR code here. You know what to do. You can scan the QR code to answer or to ask questions, and I will answer them at the end of the talk. So I'll give you a second to scan that. All right, just one more second. Perfect. I'll have that up at the end of the talk as well. So a quick introduction for today. We're going to first understand what we're talking about. We're going to understand the why we decided to integrate with this Stripe terminal. We'll go into the setup of the Stripe terminal, both on the Odoo side as well as the Stripe side. We'll see some use cases, and of course, we'll do a live demonstration. Hopefully the Wi-Fi works out for me. If not, we have a video that will play, and I will narrate over if any issues arise. Finally, we'll ask or answer any questions that come up throughout the presentation, but hopefully I answer them all beforehand. So let's get started. So the terminal that I have here in my hand is the BBPOS WisePOS E Stripe terminal. I promise you it works much better than the name entails. It's a very long, wordy name. It's a smart reader with a 5-inch touchscreen display. It works with all different types of payment methods, so you can tap, swipe, insert. It's Wi-Fi based, but there is a dock that you can use to connect through Ethernet if you want to. As you can see, I can carry it around in my hand, so if I'm on the move waiting tables, or if you just want to have a mobile register, you'll be able to do that with your Stripe terminal. You can put it in your pocket or bring it around with you any way you'd like. So really smooth. You can also add or change the background if you can see that. I have the Odoo experience. You might want to put your logo there. So who can benefit from this? Everyone. So anyone who's using the point of sale system currently can benefit from using this Stripe terminal. And why did we decide to integrate with the Stripe terminal? Basically because it's easy and inclusive. In the past, we've had terminals that we integrated with that are, they take a lot to set up, or there's a lengthy process online that you have to go through. With Stripe, it's really simple to set up. If you know anything about Stripe, you know that they're very UI friendly, very user friendly, as well as Odoo. So there's just a few steps that you need to follow on each side of things, and everything just works. And of course, it's inclusive. So there's no barrier to entry. Any small business can sign up in a matter of minutes and be up and running once they get their terminal in a matter of days. It only took me 3 days to get this terminal and everything registered and set up. During the presentation today, you'll see that I can set up the Stripe terminal in about 5 minutes. And of course, it's inclusive to small and large businesses. So if you're a large business, they do have negotiated rates. If you're a small business, you can get up and running with no barrier to entry. So now that we know the what and the why, let's look at how we can set up everything. So we're going to first look at how we set up things on the Stripe side. So there's 4 simple steps. I wrote them out here for you, but we'll go into more detail in the slides and in the demonstration. The first step is to register your Stripe account, or if you have an existing one, you can use that as well. You, of course, need to order your terminal, and then you need to follow the terminal instructions to connect to Wi-Fi and extract that registration code. So there's going to be very simple, straightforward steps, about a 3-step process on your terminal that you need to follow. And basically, that is all. Once you get that registration code, you're going to put that in your Stripe account, and everything connects seamlessly. So again, just to reiterate, you're going to register your Stripe terminal. On the screen, you'll see if you navigate to payments on the top menu bar and you go down to the left side, you'll go into locations, and you'll simply, if you don't have a location, you'll create a new location, and that's just a way to store all of your different readers, because of course you can have many readers and many registers. So you'll register your reader. You're going to take a registration code from your Stripe terminal, which is essentially a 3-word seed phrase separated by dashes. Once you enter that, Stripe automatically pulls in all the rest of the information, such as the serial number. You can give it a user-friendly name, so a reader label if you want, but that's all you have to do on the Stripe side, and everything is complete. If you do not have a Stripe account, if you navigate to payment providers within Odoo and you click on Stripe, there's going to be a Connect Stripe button, and that allows you to bring up that big screen that you see on the right side in order to register a brand new business with Stripe, and then Odoo and Stripe will create that connection for you. Again, if you have a Stripe account already, you just need to enter your publishable key as well as your secret key and generate that webhook, which is what we'll do today. So now that we understand how to set things up on the Stripe side, why don't we go into the Odoo side of things? So the Odoo setup steps are just as simple. There's 4 easy steps. First, we need to enable the Stripe terminal in the POS settings, which is going to install a module that allows us to use Stripe. We're going to create a new payment method using Stripe terminal and enter that serial number. We can get that serial number either through the box that the POS or the terminal comes into or in, or we can go on our Stripe if we already registered the terminal and extract the serial number from there. Then we're going to enable Stripe as a payment provider. So we're going to enable it as a payment provider by entering the publishable and secret key or using that connect that I showed you on the previous slide. Finally, we're going to add Stripe as a payment method in the POS settings. So just to reiterate here, there's 2 separate parts in Odoo. We have our payment provider, and then you have your terminal that you're registering. When you create the payment provider, you only need to do that once. So you might already have that set up if you're using Stripe already, and then you can just utilize that, and that's what's going to allow us access to the API going back and forth to that Stripe terminal. So just to reiterate some of those steps, step number 1, go inside of Odoo, navigate to your POS settings, enable Stripe under payment terminals. Next, we're going to create a new payment method, and as you see here, a new payment method, I select a journal, I select our payment terminal, which is Stripe, and then I enter the Stripe serial number, which I got from the Stripe website or from your device directly. Finally, we're going to enable Stripe as a payment provider. If you haven't done so already, enter in your credentials. We have it in test mode here, and then once you're ready to go, it'll all work seamlessly. The final step, of course, is to add the credit card as the payment method on each one of your registers. So if you have multiple registers and you're going to use the same Stripe terminal, you can do that. You just need to add credit card. If you have multiple terminals that you want to use for the same register, you just are going to create multiple different payment methods, and you can add those directly to your POS settings. So now let's look at using the Stripe terminal. What are the use cases? So there's the very simple one. You're a retail store. You're going to go in and someone's going to buy something from you, and you simply want to check them out using a credit card. So we can do that. We're going to capture standard credit card, debit card payments. Of course, there are restaurant and bar, and Odoo POS supports restaurants and bars. So we have 2 different methods that you might want to utilize. We have capturing tips at the time of sale. So you print out a receipt, and using the Epson printer, you can automatically print those receipts. You give it to the customer, they sign and write their tip, and then you immediately take it and enter the tip that they add. Alternatively, you might want to, you might be in a more busy restaurant environment where you leave the receipt on the table, someone signs it, and then later on you want to process all your tips. And we also support that feature. So you do not have to do it immediately after the sale. You can go back and settle all of your transactions at the end of your shift or day. So once you want to use the credit card that you set up, we're going to select the credit card and then send it to the terminal. So on the left side here, you see our payment methods. We selected credit card, and then there's a send button. You're going to send that to the terminal, and then the user is simply going to swipe, insert, or tap, or the customer rather is going to swipe, insert, or tap, and then it's going to bring you to a new screen to complete the transaction. So it all works seamlessly, and we'll see that in a live demo today. Once that is completed, we'll see our Stripe payment here. Inside of Stripe, if you go to payments, in real time it will update with your transaction. You'll see the transaction amount. If you're using tips, you would have authorized or captured a different amount. So originally you would authorize a certain amount, and then you're going to capture more, which is going to be the amount that, the initial amount plus the tip. One thing to note here is that if you're in a testing environment, maybe you're a developer, maybe you're a consultant, and you're just testing the Stripe terminal, you do need to have a certain merchant key in Stripe in order to use the tipping mechanism. So if you have any trouble, just contact Stripe support and tell them that you are a restaurant or that you want to test a restaurant feature to make sure your merchant code is of that type feature, because I ran into that issue originally. It was a very simple live chat, and they fixed it for me. So now it's time for a demonstration. We're going to go through everything from start to finish. So now we're in an Odoo instance. This is pretty much a brand new instance. I added some demo data to the database. First, we're going to navigate to Point of Sale. We'll go to Configuration Settings. We'll scroll down and make sure that we have Stripe installed. So we'll select this Stripe button here, and we'll click Save. What that's going to do while it loads is going to install a module in the back end, which is for Stripe. It is going to allow us to use and select Stripe as a payment terminal. Just give that a second. I am on Wi-Fi here, so it might be a little bit slower than usual with all these people. So next thing I'm going to do is go into Configuration, and I'm going to go to Payment Methods. I'm going to create a new payment method. We can name this anything we want. We'll just call it credit card. We'll select our journal. You might want to have a separate journal for your Stripe account. Right now, I'll just use the bank account for simplicity purposes. And then for our Stripe terminal, or our terminal, we'll select Stripe. And now it wants our serial number. So we can go into the settings of this device to grab it, but I've already registered it in Stripe, so I'll just go over to our Stripe account. We'll navigate to Payments. We'll go down to our readers, our locations. We can look into Odoo Buffalo, which I created with a locate or a reader attached to it. And I'll copy and paste that serial number right back into Odoo. So now we don't have to do anything else with the new features. This will automatically save, but if you want to be safe and you want to be sure, we can save it manually. So now we see a link below that says, don't forget to complete the Stripe Connect before using the payment method. So we can click on that to navigate to our payment methods or our payment providers and make sure that we connect Stripe's API. So we'll do that. Below here, you do see that we have the Connect Stripe button, but we also have the publishable key, secret key that we can enter. Keep in mind, you do need to be in developer mode. So if you don't know what developer mode is, in order to see these publishable keys, you can go to your general settings in Odoo, scroll down and click Activate Developer Mode, or you can install a Google Chrome plugin that allows you to toggle between developer mode and regular mode. And for those of you who don't know, developer mode just activates a couple more settings, more technical settings that most users do not need access to. So now we see it, we can enter our publishable secret key. We're going to go back into Stripe. We'll close this. We'll go to our home page and grab those credentials. So we have our publishable key here, so we'll copy that. We'll paste that, and then we'll get our secret key. So we'll need to log in for that. Copy that and paste it here. We also need to set our payment journal, so we'll set bank account again here for our payment journal. And now that that's all complete, we can generate our webhook. So there looks like there's an error. Okay, so I have an error because I have too many webhook endpoints. So let's see if we can fix that. Of course, it wouldn't be a complete demo without running into some kind of error. So what we can do instead, see if we already have something connected here. Let's see. We might have another database that we can go into and just test it out into that database that might be already connected with Stripe. So I tested this several times, so I guess I reached the max limit of webhooks that Stripe allows. So what we'll do is just go into our point of sale here. We'll go to configuration payment methods. We'll make sure that's all connected. And we do see that's connected in test mode, so we'll give that a go. We'll look at our shop 101, see if that works. And if not, we can show you a quick video. So we're going to just simply add a couple of products here. So let's see if this goes through. We'll go into payments. We have our credit card here, so let's select that and see if it goes into the terminal. So as you see, 163.75 is on my terminal here. So we can just tap, and that works seamlessly. And again, a quick error for my PIN number, but we get the point that it connects right to our terminal. So we can give that another shot maybe. We will use Apple Pay and see if that works. There are some, okay, so we can't use live credentials. So I struck out there, but we'll continue on. Let's go back to our dashboard here, and let's look at the restaurant point of view. Let's give that a quick refresh. We'll go into, let's see if we have our bars set up. So we have some floor plans, and therefore bar 101. So we'll click into bar 101. We'll select some of our items, and we'll go into our payment. So we do have credit card here. Let's see if this one goes through. So we'll send it over, and we'll insert this time. And that works seamlessly, beautiful. So we inserted, we're using a credit card. So if you had a Epson printer or something that prints these receipts automatically, and you can connect that with Odoo, these receipts will print out. You will give them to someone or to your customer. They will add a tip, they will sign, and then you can process that payment. So we'll save that, or we can print it out if we wanted to, but we'll just close that out for now. Just pretend we printed that out. And this is the screen I really wanted to bring your attention to, right? So we have add a tip. So from here, a customer might have written it on the receipt, and we can quickly just enter the amount and then click settle. But we might not want to settle right now. Maybe we're going to do that at the end of the day. So if we want to, we can do that at the end of the day. In order to do that, we'll first just settle this transaction out. Let's say the tip was 15%. So we'll go ahead and settle that. And now that's completely done. If we went into our Stripe terminal or our Stripe backend, we can look at our payments, and we see that 873, and we also see the 2 transactions that failed. If I click into that payment in real time, we see the amount authorized and the amount that was actually captured based on that tip amount. We see all of the credit card information. Now, the second use case is that you want to settle this all at the end of the day. And we can simply do that. We're going to create a new transaction. We're going to add some more items. Maybe I go back on this brand new UI that we have here that's very, very beautiful. So we'll go into payments. Credit card again. The total is $15.64. Now I'll insert my chip, remove my card, and it's all approved so that I can print out my receipts once again, give them to our customer. And now we are not going to sell this right now. The waitress is busy, or the waiter is busy, so they're going to run to another table. They'll worry about this later. So they can just go back, or they can just click on orders, go back to another order. We'll go back. We can select another table, continue to do this process. So maybe we add another burger and a pizza for another table. We'll go to credit card, and now we'll check out with that credit card. Again, we have our terminal here. We can just insert it quickly. It's all pretty seamless. As you see, that process is really quickly, and now I can print that out once again. So again, I'm not going to settle that right now, but let's pretend that's the end of the day or the end of the shift or some time that I have some downtime. I want to go back through my receipts and enter all of my tips in. I'll simply click this. If I want to have this automated pop up to print the receipts again, I can, or I can just click into here, enter the tip amount, but maybe I add an outrageous tip. Let's say it's $100. We'll settle it. Now it will tell us that the tip is more than 25%. Are we sure that we entered the right amount? So it's just a quick housekeeping to make sure that we're not making any typos when we're trying to settle these transactions. But we'll say yes, the person was very generous, and we'll settle that. If we go back to Stripe, we can see that, again, that payment in real time is just loaded in, and we see the authorized amount and the actual amount captured. So that was the demonstration that I want to show you today. I know we ran into some technical difficulties, but I'm happy that we were able to overcome them. And now, again, I'll leave that up for questions for a couple minutes, and I'll see if we have any questions that come in. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a couple of questions. So first one is, which countries are supported with the system?
Yeah, sure. So there's a lot of countries that are currently supported. Any country that Stripe supports, we support as well. There's some that are embedded, but we can still support them. We do have a slide here that I decided not to show, but these are all the countries. So you do have Belgium on there, and Beta, and then we have United States, Canada, France, Germany. So these are all of the countries if you want to take a quick look at that.
Great. So we have someone saying hello from USA. Great job, she said, or he says. Will this be the only terminal?
So this is not the only terminal that we support right now. We support Vantiv, a couple of other terminals. I forget which exact ones, but there's a couple other ones, but there are some barrier to entries in the United States as far as transaction volume goes. But for Stripe, there's no like volume limit, so anyone can sign up. It's really easy. I know that there's other options in other countries, especially Belgium. There's several other options, but this is the easiest solution in the United States currently.
Okay. And does having Odoo help with negotiating rates for Stripe?
So it won't help per se. We don't have any agreement that I'm aware of to negotiate rates. That's going to be completely between you and Stripe, and that's going to be based on your volume. And then they do have some unique payment packages depending on exactly what kind of business you're running. But again, that would be through you and Stripe.
And they're asking, where do we purchase the Stripe terminal?
Yep, so you can go to stripe.com/terminal, I believe. You can easily purchase that. If you just Google Stripe terminal, you'll be brought to a page with all the different Stripe terminals. Make sure you purchase this one because it's the only one that is currently supported.
All right, so we have a question. I'm going to try to read it. Let's try to make sense of it. It says, is it also used for normal sales order? So
no, it's not. So this is just for POS.
Okay.
But if you want to use Stripe, you can use Stripe for normal sales orders, but not the POS, or not the terminal.
And question, can I refund a customer with Stripe terminal?
So you have to go inside of Stripe currently to refund the customer. Ideally, it would be in the terminal. There's some types of terminals where you can do it right from your terminal here, but right now there's a limitation, and we want you to go into Stripe to process the refund. But again, it's really simple to do. If you just went into your Stripe account and you went to your payments, we can literally just click refund here to refund the payment.
All right. And any plans of expansion to enter Asian countries with Stripe?
So that would be on Stripe's side. We will support any countries that Stripe supports. So as they continuously build out their product, then we will support it.
Okay, Kevin. Well, for now, there's no more question. Is there something you would like to tell the crowd to wrap this up?
No, I appreciate everyone being here and listening to my talk. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, you can email me at kez@odoo.com.